Had to put on the golf shirt for this one today, folks. What's going on? Welcome to After Prison Show. And today I want to talk to you guys about Laurie Lowland. Laurie Lowland. I think I'm finally pronouncing her name correctly. I used to pronounce her name Laurie Lofton, but that's not correct. Laurie Lowland. For those of you who may not know who this woman is, she was Jesse's girl on Full House. She was also a part of Fuller House. They canceled that show because she got wrapped up along with a bunch of other people in the college admission scandal situation that recently took place and made national news. Entitled, privileged families paying tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars for their children to get fudged test scores and also be able to get into prestigious colleges. Laurie Lowland from Full House, Jesse's girl, who did not grow up on Full House, cut it out. Gosh almighty. Whatever happened to that do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do, and now we're in prison. Yeah, that's what's going on with Laurie Lowland right now. She's currently locked up. She was the only parent, I believe, in the college admission scandal case. Maybe also the most high-profile one as well, but the only one who decided she was going to try to box it out, bing, bing, bloom, with the federales. And I'm hoping that it was seeing an After Prison Show video where we first talked about what Laurie Lowland was going to be like in prison, that told her, that helped convince her, you don't go to court against the feds. You do not fight the feds. If they got you, you plead out because they got like a 90+% conviction rate. And you probably do use some cooperating as well. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. When the feds got you, they got you by the do-do-do-do-do. I'm sure we just had to censor that word right there. But there's big news in relation to Laurie Lowland being locked up right now, potentially needing the loud pack. Laurie is breaking apart like a cookie in a glass of milk. She's just falling apart. Only been locked up since October the 30th, and for those of you who may not be familiar, I think that's Halloween. I could be completely wrong about that. She's only been locked up since the end of last month. We're only talking about like, what, a week right now? And she is falling apart, folks. We're going to be discussing that and a lot more here today on After Prison Show. Cut it out. Time cuts. After Prison Show. There's our intro right there, folks. Laurie Lowland has just begun serving her 2-month prison sentence. Originally, she was going to box it out with the federales, but changed her tune, decided to take the plea deal, and copped to 2 months in prison, plus her and her husband got to pay a $500,000 fine. Not sure how much time her husband got. Think he got 6 months. Could be wrong about that. If I am, please comment down below. Let me know. Also, real quick, I want to make a clarification, a correction from yesterday's video where I was talking about Oregon and how they just legalized everything in that state. I misspoke saying that quite a bit in that video. It wasn't that they legalized everything, they decriminalized everything, which might as well be like kind of legalizing everything. I know that there's a major difference right there. I do apologize for that. It wasn't that they legalized everything, they decriminalized pretty much all user amounts of narcotics. But getting back to today, in this story featuring Laurie Lowland falling apart in prison, it's been a week. You know, when she took this plea deal, not only did she cop to the 2 months and the $500,000 fine that she's got to pay, which is probably a drop in the bucket compared to the type of money her and her husband got, but neither here nor there, she also got to pick the prison where she would serve those 60 days at. And if we remember anything from this college admission scandal, I don't know why all this finger pointing. It's like I'm working on an aircraft carrier or an airport. Go ahead, take off. Oh wait, there was another Prison Show plane right there. I'm reminding myself of that guy from Police Academy. You guys remember that movie? Classic. If you guys remember anything about this college admission scandal, think back to Felicity Huffman. She got sentenced to like 11 days or maybe 14 days, and she would only end up, she wouldn't even serve all of that time. She actually got released early. Laurie Lowland, she's got 60 days, 2 months. Will she get released early? Who knows? But she got to pick the prison that she would serve this time at, and she is at some sweet-ass place in, I believe, Dublin, California, where they've got a low and also a satellite facility, which is lower than a low. No fences at all. Felicity Huffman, I believe, served her time there as well. If you got to do any time in prison, you are at the sweetest place where you could possibly have to serve any time at, and you can't handle that. On top of that, let's go ahead and add this as well. It was back in January where a story broke saying that Laurie Lowland had hired her a prison consultant to help prepare her for prison, and she was even learning the martial arts. She weren't going to be taking no BS from no tough guys and no thug women at no satellite facility. I don't know. I've never been in the feds. I know that the satellite facility is the lowest of the lows. No fences at all. I've heard that you can ride horses there. I've heard that they've got tennis courts there, that backhand, swimming pools, and other things. Of those 3 things that I mentioned right there, there's probably only one that's correct, and it's probably the tennis. But these satellite facilities are like college campuses, is really what they are. There's no tough people there, and if they are, you better go ahead and slap them, because they is faking the funk for real, and they ain't going to do nothing that's going to jeopardize their time at that satellite facility. You already know in the feds, most people are serving an extraordinary amount of months, because that's how the feds sentence you, unless you're somebody like Felicity Huffman or Laurie Lowland. So when you get there, yes, you're going to be a target because you were on Full House. I grew up watching you, for God's sake, as much of anybody who's watching this video may have done as well. People are going to try you, but you just got to bark back, because that's all it's going to be, is some bark. Ain't nobody there going to be trying to mess their time up. And getting back to the fact that in January you hired you a life coach, a prison consultant to help prepare you for this time. They didn't do a good job, and it was back during January where I remember making a video because I was super salty you didn't hire me. I could have prepared you way better than this. You didn't need to learn you none of that Jenga jiu-jitsu or whatever, none of that. I could have told you straight up, you was going to a low, lower than a low. You're going to end up at a satellite camp. We all saw how that worked out for Martha Stewart. Girl, you're going to be straight. You're going to be strapped. You're going to come out of this thing even better than you went in, with a movie deal probably. As a matter of fact, there was a story that broke saying that she's already in negotiations or talks or got a contract for a deal about a movie or a show in relation to the college admission scandals. No joke, Kashi. But I didn't think that you could profit from your crimes. But there's always a loophole around that, I would imagine, because a lot of people who are locked up, they write books about themselves. Has that really horrendous dude wrote a book about himself just yet? What's his name? Chris Watts? Terrible person, like deserves nothing but the worst. But he's always in the news. Seems like a very egotistical piece of shit. I'm sure he's considering writing a tell-all manuscript if that's not already a story that's been broke. Forgive me. Wow, we have been all over the place with this. I want to go ahead and share a couple of notes that I've got in relation to this story about the fact that after only a week at the sweetest prison that you could possibly be at, Laurie Lowland is falling apart. The story would actually be titled, Laurie Lowland is a wreck after first days in prison. How do we not know that this is not fake and this is all for the publicity of that new Netflix or Lifetime movie deal she's got for when she gets released? You saw what Tekashi did. He just tried to troll as hard as he possibly could, eating off of the fact and acknowledging what he really was, a snitch piece of dookie. And then he dropped that album, and that joint belly flopped like a fat kid in a pool, no disrespect to the chubby kids. And he disappeared. That broke his heart. He just knew that the world was in love with him. Akon did a song with him. Nicki Minaj did a song with him. What does it say about them folks? Y'all don't respect the code of the street for real. Akon gonna make a Locked Up 2 with you? I'll never listen to another Akon song again, except for Mr. Lonely. Because that most certainly reminds me of everything that I was while in prison. Mr. Lone, I don't even remember how it goes. Used to like it though. Somebody comment down below the lyrics to that song, if you know it or like it. Laurie really went into prison strong. She had her faith and the support of her family, but the first few days and the road ahead are daunting because those first few days, her family was like, see ya, we're gonna live our life. Our life don't stop. Time don't stop for no one. Girl, you're doing 60 days. That might as well be a life sentence to them Hollywood folks out there. They ain't waiting for you. Oh, could you imagine trying to get on the phone and don't nobody answer and you ain't got but 60 days? That's got to sting. I know that feeling actually, so I can relate. Laurie Lowland, Mrs. Lowland, goes into this prison experience strong, faith-based, prison consulted up, jujitsu and Jenga certified. She could have been an instructor. And then within mere days, maybe even hours, all of that disintegrates. Like a space shuttle re-entering the atmosphere with its heat shields compromised. Boy, that was a bar right there. Hey, yo, you're gonna disintegrate like a space shuttle re-entering the atmosphere with its heat shield compromised. I'm getting back to my music very soon. I was actually working on something this morning. It was hot lava flow, straight dumpster fire, coming soon. Another source who called her a wreck explained Lowland struggled to manage her anxiety. Anxiety is a major thing that you will deal with while in prison. The chaos of a situation, just being locked up, especially being at a satellite facility where you know you are the safest. You're more safe than in a bunker, than in a bomb shelter. Being at a satellite facility in the feds. I've never been there, but it's just what it seems like to me. It seems like it is straight PC. Ain't nobody gonna bust a grape in there. Matter of fact, people might just try to be your friend just to be extras in this movie you got getting ready to come out. Guaranteed people trying to befriend old Laurie Lowland while she's locked up for these 60 days. Hey, yo, don't forget about me when you go home, Miss Lowland. Lowland, please don't forget about me. Send me $1 million to my commissary. Never forget what I did for you. I was there for you during your darkest days, those 60 days that you had to serve at this extraordinary low. Laurie tried her best to be brave and look the part, but in the end, the result was nothing that could dissipate her fears. Holy shitballs. She realized that she was in prison for real. Again, I heard that the feds got a salad bar like Ruby Tuesdays. She should have hired me as that prison consultant. I could have prepared her way better than this. And whoever prepared her for $40,000 or better, you should be ashamed of yourself because look at what's happening to your client right now. Are you there for her 24/7 like an emergency plumbing company? Yes, Mrs. Lowland, I am here. Yes, it's not that bad. Shut your... Toughen up, little soldier. It's gonna be okay. 60 days. You're at like a Chuck E. Cheese. And it's 3 o'clock in the morning. That's going to cost you a little extra. Did you send that, Miss Lowland, from prison? See how we turned the tables around with that? It's only 2 months, but she's dreading it. Her mind keeps telling her that something will go horribly wrong in prison or that her stay could be prolonged. We have spoke about this in the past here on After Prison Show. The biggest fears I ever had serving time, and that most certainly is one. That's one that's going to add a lot of anxiety, fearing that you might not get released. What if they forget about me? What if I have to serve 60 days and 3 hours? I won't be able to survive that. But another thought that comes to my mind more seriously is, why are you dreading things like this? Is there more to this story than meets the eye? Maybe things that you hope don't get discovered in those 60 days that could in fact also prolong your time in prison. Interesting things to consider right there, folks. I want to know what you guys think about this story. What would you tell Laurie Lowland right now as she is falling apart behind bars? What would you say to try to help her through this, or maybe you don't want to help her through this? I really want to know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about this. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace. AfterPrisonShow. That was kind of weak.